Good morning. It is early morning on July 5th, and it's hot. Oh my gosh. Over the holiday weekend, my family and I sat around and melted because we don't have air conditioning in our house. It was just so very hot. So it's actually cooler outside right now. It's like 77 degrees. Cooler outside than it is in my house for the first time. So I'm outside in my pajamas, having my coffee at the picnic table on the deck because it's just too hot. So the last two videos that I posted, Debt Free with the Hubby number 6 and 7, I believe, those were actually from the end of June. And if you watched the last one, you can see that I was sort of not in a good place as far as how things went with my husband with the conversation that we had. So I actually wasn't in any hurry to post those videos because I was very bummed and was having a really hard time with everything. And so I wasn't sure that those videos would be helpful to anybody. They certainly weren't making me feel any better, so I didn't post them right away. But since then, people, can I do a happy dance, please? Because let me tell you why I'm doing a really bad happy dance. You remember in the last video, if you watched it, which I'm sure you did, and if you didn't, you should watch that video. It's not nice, and it's not great, but I mentioned that I had asked my husband if I were to hand him over the bills and the money, what would he do to get us out of our current situation? Like, what was the first thing he would do to try to solve this problem? Well, he never answered me, which is why I didn't post his answer in the video, because I didn't get one. So our daughter's birthday was actually on July 2nd. And she did have a nice birthday. I was able to manage to pull something out of my hat, like I always do, but that's very tiring. I'm so tired of having to, like, become a contortionist to make things work. Anyhow, that's a whole nother video. So, my dog is tangled. What are you doing, dog? Just, what a stubborn pup I have. I have him on his leash, and he doesn't want to be on his leash. Because I can't watch him when I'm out here making a video. I can't really keep an eye on him the way I need to. And so I have him on his leash, and he's sitting as far away from me as he can. And so there's like tension on the leash. I mean, come on, just lay next to me. Let's not be stubborn. Anyway, I'm sorry, I get off track. So I asked him, he didn't answer me. So on my daughter's birthday, I don't know, I honestly cannot remember what brought this conversation about. But at some point I said, you know, you never did answer my question the other day. And he said, what question is that? I said, the question that I asked you about, if I were to hand over the bills to you right now, what would you do? And he's like, I don't know what I would do. And I was like, good enough. I mean, I wasn't in a mood. I was tired, of course. What else was I expecting from him? And I had that attitude when I walked away. I was like, okay, well, thanks for your help, buddy. And so I walked into the other room, sat down at the computer. I was working on the bills. I was looking at the bills because there's nothing to work on. And about 5 minutes later, he comes in and sits down. Now his jaw's clenched and he's not looking happy that he's in there. But for some reason, he made himself come in and sit down. And he said, I don't know what to do. And I said, but you won't even talk to me, and blah, blah, blah. And then the ball got rolling. The conversation got started. And it ended up being over an hour-long conversation. There was crying, mostly on my part. My husband's not a crier or a reader. He's not a reader or a crier. But he was as close to crying as he gets. I mean, there's tears, but he doesn't let them spill very often. That conversation ended up being, like, exhausting, but it was the best conversation we have had about our finances ever. And it ended with him finally being on board. I was tired of asking. I was a blubbering mess. I can honestly tell you that conversation was like I was at my breaking point, and I guess maybe the saying of you have to hit rock bottom before you can move forward, you know, turn around and head up again. That's where I was. I was at the bottom. There was no, I'm surprised that was even a productive conversation with as upset as I was. And I wasn't yelling, and I maybe I mean, it was very emotional for both of us. And he ended up saying, I don't know what to do about this situation. I don't know what to do. He's like, because I said, why won't you help me? And he said, I don't want to help you because I don't know what to do. And he said, that's not a good answer, but I have no clue what to do. And I said, but I do. For once, I actually know exactly what we need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. And you have to be on board or it isn't going to work. And I said, but it will work if you trust me, if you would just trust me. And he's like, I totally trust you. And I said, do you believe that what I'm telling you is true? That I didn't just come up with some harebrained idea. I said, this will work if you will trust me and believe me that this will work, because I'm promising you, if you get on board with me and we do this, it's going to suck for a little while. But in a very short time, we are going to be able to live like we've never lived. And after I said that I know what to do, and I gave him my whole, my spiel, he sat there real quiet for like 5 minutes. Come here, pup. Stubborn dog. He sat there real quiet for like 5 minutes and he was thinking. And there's this moment where you can see on someone that you know very well, you can see this moment where their mind completely shifts. And I'm watching my husband and he's just looking down and he's in very deep thought. And I could see the moment. It's like his jaw relaxed and his whole demeanor changed. His eyes changed. Everything changed. And I saw it happen. It was like watching a baby being born. It was like the most miraculous miracle ever. It was amazing. And then he looks up and he says, let's sell my truck. And I was like, well, and then he said, let's sell my motorcycle. And then I nearly fainted. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, I am. He's like, you're right. And I'm like, are you saying I'm like, you want to do this? He's like, yes, let's do this. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Don't play with me. Are you being like, you're serious? You are really going to be on board with this? And because I even said, you know, Dave Ramsey and the whole thing, where my husband works, they often have the class, the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University class. And I think the company offers it for free to their employees. And some of the guys he works with have taken it, and they didn't have very good things to say about the class. I mean, they had some, but there was a lot of mixed reviews, I guess, from that group. I don't know if it was the facilitator that just maybe didn't do a good job. I don't know. Because I've never heard that many negative comments. And so my husband was very put off by the idea of doing it, because we were actually going to take the class until he talked to his buddies at work, and they were like, oh, dude, don't do it. So then I was like, okay. So he already had like this negative mindset about Dave Ramsey. And I knew when he saw me carrying around the book, he was probably like, oh, here she goes. She's doing the Dave Ramsey thing. And I said, you know, you might have heard bad things about Dave Ramsey or about the class. I said, but that was probably a bad class. Maybe that was just a bad teacher, or maybe your buddies didn't like what he was saying, which could be. But they don't have our life. You know, they don't have the financial situation that we have. You know, he has 2 children from a previous marriage and we pay child support. I'm like, everyone's life is different. So what they didn't like about it because of the way it applies to their life should not even be considered in how we think of this. And he totally agreed, which was amazing. And let me just tell you, that was on July 2nd. Today's the 5th. Since then, he went with me to different stores, to like Sam's Club and Walmart and different places where we would shop for groceries, and helped me price things. He sat down with me and helped me come up with a 2-week rotating menu. Ooh, lightning bug almost killed me. And we have gone through our house and figured out, we're selling our treadmill, our elliptical, we're selling lawnmowers, we're going to sell motorcycles, trucks, and thank you so much to, I don't remember your name, the woman who gave me the tip about how to get out from underneath a vehicle with negative equity. That was wonderful, and I did tell my husband about that. So it looks like maybe thanks to your tip, we may be able to get out from underneath my very expensive vehicle. So we are doing it, people. And this is like, we haven't really even started the process near where I would like us to be, but we're at the beginning stages. But I totally feel like I've already had a victory. So debt-free with the hubby. Yay! It's happening. And so I'm going to give you regular updates, and hopefully, maybe you might get to meet my husband. That would be exciting. So thank you. And I'll see you guys later.